Hey there, MRA, my Real Africanists. This is Marie Ya Jouf, the Real Africanist, and I would like to welcome you to my channel. On this channel, I talk about Africa for real, right? I talk about African history, the state of African studies, and what's happening in Africa now, right? But my real goal here is to bring people of African descent in every corner of the world together around topics that pertain to our common history and our real time experiences. Okay, so I just wanted to hop on here and talk real quick about what I believe is a movement, a momentum that's happening, right? That's happening across the globe, right? That's happening on the African continent and in every sector of society today, right? And that is this change the African narrative movement and just this shift in African consciousness is what I'm calling it. I mean, I see it happening on every level, right? On the social level, on the political level, on the spiritual level, on the economic level, right? I see uh, Black people standing up, being proud of their heritage, pushing back against these false narratives that have been presented in the world about Black people, right? I see it happening in Black leadership. And I am just very, very proud to be a part of this movement. And I just want to encourage everyone out there uh, to just stand steadfast and keep 10 toes down and keep doing what you're doing, right? The marathon continues, okay? So um, I just can't express it, right? So we see that again, these movements are happening everywhere, right? We are calling people out on the carpet, right? We are discovering more and more about our own history. We are um, telling our own stories, right? Our leaders are standing firm um, and pushing back against these powers, specifically these Western powers who try to intimidate uh, our leaders and try to bully our leaders into um, doing what they want them to do, submitting, themselves to the will of these powers that have been historically in control for, the last few hundred of years, right? But our leaders are pushing back and saying, no, we are taking control of our own future. We are charting our own course, right? And not just our leaders, political leaders, but our leaders in every sector, right? Like I say, I see it in the religious sector, right? We are there are so many of us out here now that are turning away from these Western religions, and we are trying, working hard to discover the spiritual values and of our ancestors and their spiritual practices, right? To see if those spiritual practices will have a more profound uh, impact on our spiritual beings, right? On our spiritual being and on our attitudes, right? And I see these relationships that are being built. I was on social media on YouTube actually last night, and I was watching this video with this one young lady who is African, right? But she uh, is really pushing the African American narrative, right? She is learning more about African American history, and she is sharing it with her followers, and she's talking about how uh, Africans had been lied to about African Americans, right, and vice versa, and she's doing work to correct the beliefs that we have about one another, right? She's trying to reconcile those differences, right, that have been historically exploited or have been ingrained within us, right? Have been deliberately ingrained within us to mislead us about how different uh, different groups of African people around the world, right? The diaspora, how we feel about one another, right? So we are taking control of those narratives. We are building stronger relationships with one another, right? And that is what's at the core of what is needed, right? So that's why it's so important that we get to know each other, right? Because for so long, other people have been speaking for us, have been telling us what to think, telling us what uh, we think about each other, right? And the fact of the matter is, they are distorting that because they want to keep us apart, right? They need to keep us apart because they understand, right? The power is in our unity. But I also want to say that it is, I think, unrealistic to think that all black people, again, in the world, um, will get along with each other. I mean, that's just not reality. I mean, it's human behavior, for people to have disagreements, to have conflict. If you living next to a black person, right, that's like when you living in a house with your family, you're going to have disagreements and they're going to be black. But for some reason, when we have disagreements, people, they blow it all out of proportion, like nobody else has these disagreements or conflicts, like it's only black people, right? And that's not true. We just don't know about other people because that's really not our concern. But like I say, they focus on that, this whole thing, black on black crime and all of that. If you're in the community or in neighborhoods or in areas where most black people live, then it's going to be some black on black crime because those are the people that you are around, right? And crime is a global thing. So I'm quite sure if you're in Mexico, it's Mexican on Mexican crime. If you're in China, it's Chinese on Chinese crime, right? You in France, it's France on France crime, or French on French crime. You know what I'm saying, right? But so, and we do that too. We are part of that problem because we feel like, black people, we at it again. No, everybody is at it again. That's just how it goes, right? But back to what I was saying, right? I am so proud to see us coming together. I'm so proud to see us flipping the script, right? Changing the narrative, right? And I just want to encourage us to continue to do that. I just wanted to share this quick story. Like the first time that I that I visited the continent, right? My first trip to the continent was Senegal, okay? And, all my life I've been Miss Black Power, black, you know what I'm saying? And I was so excited to have the opportunity to go to Senegal. At first, everybody is we talk about Ghana here in the States. So my first introduction really to the continent was from a friend of mine who was from Ghana. So, I had planned to go to Ghana, but anyway, the trip came up for Senegal. And I said, well, wow, I better go ahead and go to Senegal because just in case I never get the opportunity to go to Africa again, at least I will have this opportunity, right? I can say that I have visited the continent. So my first trip was to Senegal. And like I say, so when I got there, that night when I got there, we really didn't have an opportunity to do anything. And so we didn't really see much. We got off of the bus. We went from the plane to the bus and straight to the hotel. But the next morning, right, we got up and after we got dressed, we were getting ready for our day. So one of our, like our second stop and stuff, after we ate and done some other things, we went to the beach. And so, man, when I got off that bus, we started going to the beach, right? And like I say, remind you, I'm Miss Black Power sister, right? Black, 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 everything black. So when I go to the beach, and please don't get offended, I'm just telling the story, being truthful. Man, I walked on the beach, and all I saw was African people, black people for miles, like a sea of black people, they just hanging out. And I gotta say, I was even shocked, right? It took me aback. I went back like, what? Like, whoa, because I'm from America, right? And although I lived in black communities all my life, we still a very small percentage of Americans. And I don't know if African people know that, right? We not that large of a percent. I mean, we have a lot of black people here, but compared to the people that's in America, they say we still about 15% of the population. I'm not sure if it's that number. It may be a little more. But, we see all these different diversities, these different ethnic groups here. And I saw all my folks in one place. I'm like, whoa, hey, there's a lot of black people, right? So I had to get used to it. But once I got used to it, right, I was fine. I was in heaven then. I'm like, whoa, this is different, because you're not used to just being around like all black people, everybody black, the president black, the nurses black, the doctors black, the business owners black, you like, no. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to be laughing, but it is kind of funny, right? And so it was just a eye-opening experience for me. And I say I can imagine then what the white people say when they came here, like, whoa, it's a lot of black people. They might do us in, shit, this ain't no joke, right? That's black magic, sweetie. That's what that is. So, like I say, it's just up to us to get to know each other, and don't buy into these narratives that, we don't like. African Americans don't like Africans. Africans don't like African Americans. Like I say, I have been now to the continent numerous of times, and I've never experienced anything like that, right? So we have to just use common sense, right? And again, like I say, it doesn't matter what you call yourself, whatever you call yourself, that's up to you. If you don't want to say you're African and this and that, we don't have time to deal with petty differences like that, right? Our main goal is to make our societies, wherever black people are in the world or wherever people are of African descent in the world, make these societies progressive and, livable for our people. That's our goal. And we have to support our leadership, right? And we have to hold our leadership accountable. So I don't want people to get me wrong when I say, sometimes I say that we don't support African leaders. Like, look, I know that there are good and bad in everybody, right? I know there are some leaders that are incompetent, and there are those who are very competent, right? However, the one problem that I have is that I never seem to hear people support African leaders or compliment African leaders when they are getting things right, right? And like I say, African leaders are up against a lot, right? And again, I know it must be a heck of a thing to be a political leader who is responsible for all of the citizens that are in your country, right? But the politicians can't do it alone. The people as well have to be, instrumental in their own progress, right? And that is the thing in America, okay? In American society, right? Really big businesses and small businesses, the business sector, um, actually upholds this country, right? And that is one of the things that I find, uh, not interesting, but that's one of the keys to the success of America. And all throughout history, American history, a lot of the, like you say, owners of uh, slaves and things like that, these were business people, right? Business people that were entrenched in these societies, okay? It wasn't just as a matter of fact, the government probably did sanction this, but most of these uh, people that carried out this enslavement of African people were business people, right? And these are the people that made the money and made the fortune and was able to create this society that most people know, that we know as American society, okay? So we have to take all of that into consideration, okay? And we have to quit comparing ourselves to America, right? Because there's just no way you can compare that. You cannot compare a country that had 400 years of free labor with a country the size of a city in America, right? You have African countries that are the size of a city and have nowhere near the GDP that this country has, right? These are United States. But what a lot of people don't know is that uh, a lot of the states and the federal government, they don't get along either. They have conflict all the time. They have disagreement about the way these federal government policies are carried out, and the federal government has issue with some of the states and the way these state policies are carried out, right? So that's a myth, as well as if this country is unified and that there's no conflict. They are unified under the Constitution, the United States of America, right? Um, that's what we want for Africa. We want a unified Africa, but that's easier said than done. Okay, it's easier said than done, especially based upon the divisions that were created during colonization. Okay, the effects of colonization continues to linger, right? But I really think that we are working towards that, right? We see the shift happening every day. We see our leaders that are standing up, like I say, taking their rightful place, telling those powers in the world who think that they run and control everything, like, no, you don't control us, and we basically not going for that anymore, right? We are charting, like I say, our own course, our own future, right? This is what we want. This is the Africa we want, and this is the Africa that we are determined to bring to pass, right? So I just wanted to hop on here and say that, and to just, like I say, encourage everybody to do your part. And by doing your part, that means as an individual, do your part, right? Strengthen your own resolve, invest in yourself, because a strong individual makes a strong community, right? Makes a strong nation. Okay, so we can't forget that we have the power within ourselves, right? That power of creation to create for ourselves what it is that we want for ourselves. I mean, against all odds, you will be surprised. The smallest thing or the most minute action can lead to you radically changing your whole life, right? And by changing your life, you change the life of those around you, right? And so, like I say, a strong individual makes for a strong nation, right? So just stay focused, do what you can do right where you are. Again, like I said on the last video, you don't have to be popular, you don't have to reach millions, if you reach one person and you change that person's life for the better, then I believe that you have done your part, right, here on this earth, right? And we need everybody to do their part. Everybody is important in the larger scheme of things. Everything works together for the good of those who have one goal and one mission in mind, right? And our one goal and our one mission, again, is to empower our people to take our rightful place in society and create strong and industrial societies that can support our people, right? Support our people, right? So by taking charge of the narrative, by telling our own stories, by educating our own people, by holding our leaders accountable, by holding ourselves accountable, we can create the Africa we want, right? And like I say, it's not about me, Marie Ya Jouf. It's not about you. It's not about a individual per se. Like I say, I do encourage people to invest in themselves, but it's about the collective, right? It is about the collective interest, right? And we are doing it. The change is happening. Things are happening. Change is happening. And I am proud to be a part of that change. I am proud to be a part of that momentum. So let's keep it going. Okay. So I hope you have a good day. Please like, share, comment, and also subscribe to my channel. So and hit the notification button, right? So you can be the first to get notified when I put up another video, and we can keep this conversation going. Okay. So I will see you next time. Remember to what? Fight the power. And remember that freedom ain't free. And remember, there is always more to the story. So always go deeper. All right. I will talk to you later, and peace.